Books.
Transportation.
Funding.
Nurses.
Library.
Education. Counseling.
In one word, Philadelphia Community Youth Court, explain how you feel about the school district's budget cuts.
Horrified.
Disappointed. Disgusted.
Failed.
Annoyed. Angry.
Future.
Upset.
I feel as though we should be the city's #1 priority as kids, and instead of they should start putting more money into our education instead of putting money into useless things that we really don't need.
Well, we are the priority, but they're just not going down the path of education. They're just trying to make more money by sending us to prison instead, which is why all the budget cuts are happening.
That's why it's Youth Court's mission to eradicate the school-to-prison pipeline.
Yeah, 25 schools had to be closed, but yet they were able to build two $400 million prisons recently.
They built casinos and sports complexes too.
Because of schools closing down and schools merging together, there's a whole bunch of gang fights and gang-related incidents happening at the schools. Because of budget cuts, nurses are only at the schools like once or twice a week, and because of that, 2 students have already died this year.
Yeah, just like the nurses, but instead of like just once or twice a week, it's actually for guidance counselors. There's fewer and fewer. There's actually they don't show up at all because their jobs are getting cut to make room for not make room, but because of all the budget cuts, which leads to more fights and kids get kicked out of school, and then like what our mayor said, they end up on the streets.
Speaking of counselors, who's going to help us get into colleges, high schools, help us for our future?
Speaking of counselors, they help you with your problems.
Speaking of counselors, they always are there for you so that you can actually vent out and you don't have to go around walking angry at school or just go around venting out your anger on someone else.
There are no new-time aides, security, school security, or anything to stop these fights or gang-related things that are happening in the schools.
That the school district is not putting money into schools for new school books. So,
Our textbooks are not up to date.
We have to share textbooks with classmates, and we can't bring our homework books home.
Because there aren't enough textbooks, sometimes we can't bring the textbook home to study. We can only have it whenever we're at school.
Yeah, but that's all just saying like if the school's lucky enough to get textbooks, sometimes they just get Xerox copies.
My Chinese class, sometimes people, they don't have any books, so they can't really follow along what the teacher is saying.
I'm angry because my school had closed down, and now we have to go, now the whole school has to go to 3 different schools, and it's not fair to me because I have to meet new friends, meet new teachers, and I don't have that connection with my friends anymore, and that hurt me like real bad. Now we have to walk like a far distance from where our house is to our school.
Because of the budget cuts, schools, they don't have enough money for extracurricular activities, so children they end up going onto the streets because they don't have anything to do at the school.
But children going to the streets, they're going to end up doing bad things, joining with bad crowds, so they might end up in jail or going to other legal issues.
Speaking of jails, with people with the district knocking down our schools and building jails, you're setting us up.
I feel as though the school district is not putting that much money into our after-school curricular activities, such as football. And this season we had to share most of our equipment with each other, and we didn't have uniforms that much, and sometimes we would have to use our practice jerseys and stuff for games, and I didn't think that was fair. We had to raise money ourselves, go out on the streets and ask people for money just so we could get transportation to go to places we need to go. And sometimes we would have to ask parents to take money out of their own pockets to support the team.
And because of budget cuts, a lot of things have also been cut from the school, like certain classes, other after-school activities. Like, for instance, at my school, I was inside a competition for my military team, and we ended up not going to the next competition all because of budget cuts at the school, since they didn't have enough money for insurance or other equipment. And because of this, like, there are other layoffs and stuff. Teachers are being laid off, so now students can't learn properly. They have classrooms filled to the brim with a whole bunch of students. And then when it comes to budget cuts, you only have some schools only have a nurse for about 1 or 2 days, and then because of that, 2 students ended up dying this year alone. It's not even the fact that it was only 2 students. It should have been 0 had there been a nurse 5 days a week.
We got a library with no books and nobody in it. Like, what is this? Due to budget cuts, classroom sizes are bigger, and there are not enough staff.
There are already 30 kids inside of one class. Do we really need more?
How do you expect us to learn?
I'm upset because prison has better facilities than my school. I'm upset because that my teachers, they have one teacher teaching about 3 different classes in this one school. Like, I'm upset.
It's the elected official's job to make sure we have the best education. Our future in education should be the top priority in this city. We are the future, and they're making it seem like we're not. They're failing us. I am the future.
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 Oh, it's the future.
We are the future.